Good morning, PV Nation and people around the world. My name is David Smith,
And I'm Zach Collins.
and we are back with another episode of the Sports Zone. So, Zach, we had a busy weekend, man. Whether it was with the NCAA football, a whole bunch of upsets from them, some missed calls in the NFL, some upsets in the MLB. Let's get right to PV news. The women's soccer team played Alabama A&M over the weekend and won 1-0. So now their win streak is 3 games in the SWAC conference.
It looks like they're finally getting into their stride of heading on into their SWAC conference play.
Right.
And they actually have the longest winning streak on campus currently.
Yeah, I mean, we ain't gonna speak too soon because y'all about to
We're about to
take
continue
off.
that too.
The volleyball team plays Arkansas Pine Bluff tonight at the Rec at 6:30 p.m. So make sure you guys come out and show your support because we could use all the support that we need.
Definitely. It seems like that team feeds off of the energy that the
Right.
crowd provides with all of the sports teams there and the students coming to support. They definitely need their support.
Also, the rugby team had their first official game this past weekend, faced Trinity University at San Antonio and won 63-26.
You covered that game.
Yeah,
didn't you?
I was out there. It was hot, boy. It was hot, but they came out a lot of confidence. They came out, ready to show what they was about, and they just did their thing.
So do you understand rugby?
To a certain extent, it's like football without pads.
And
I won't let my son play it. that is a physical sport.
definitely.
So let's go into the upcoming game against Southern.
Let's describe Southern as a SWAC juggernaut. If it's not Grambling out of the West, it's typically Southern. So this game is a lot. It means a lot to us within the SWAC conference on the West Side in general. We lost last year, a tough, heartbreaking loss on
They
a
had some
questionable
bad calls,
call,
yeah.
to say the least. It's a photo out there if you look it up, where the dude is stretching for the end zone,
Right.
but he doesn't have the ball in his hand, and then you see the ref like this, but the ball is on the 3-yard line.
Right.
So we have some things we need to get back with that, and then we just need to prepare hard this week, and we're looking forward to it. With it being our first home game, we need all our fans to come out and support us.
Come out.
And we got to get Dewanye Tucker back leading the rush. He's second right
Right.
now, but that's because
But-
we had an off week. So
Yeah, that
he's
ain't
gonna
nothing.
get back.
That ain't nothing to us. Alcorn lost to Alabama A&M in 5 overtimes.
Alabama State.
Alabama State, excuse me.
Yeah.
So what does that mean for PV's chances to go into Atlanta?
As far as for our chances, it doesn't affect us fully because they're on the East.
Oh,
They're in the
okay.
East bracket. But as looking at as a conference as a whole, we're the only team that's 2-0 within a conference. So that was a shocking loss to some degree because it was their homecoming game,
Mhm.
and I'm sure they didn't expect to lose that game, let alone play a 5 overtime game. I don't even know how long that game would have been
Right.
or who would have made it out. They must have had their 3s and 4s playing by the end of that, because that's an
That's a long
extremely
game,
long
yeah.
game. But as far as what it tells for the whole of the conference, everybody has a chance, it looks like, whether
Right.
it be anybody on our side or on the East. It looks like a wide open race to see who meets in Birmingham, Alabama on December 1st.
Right. So let's go into some pro sports now. The MLB news. The Braves faced the Dodgers last night. A back and forth game. The Braves come out with a win, 6-5 at a late double by, I can't remember his name right now, but a late double by the Braves, and it just kind of put an end to the whole Dodgers run. They came back from a 0-5 run that the Braves were on, so I thought the Braves were about to give up at the end, but they kind of toughed it out. Also, the Brewers faced the Rockies last night, and the Brewers came out with a dominating win, 6-0.
They smacked them.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting that, to be honest with you.
Why
That
not?
was this is the first time they're going to the National Conference Championship Series since 2011. So they must be doing something right. Their offense
They're
is
turning their wheels. They're getting
Yeah.
into the swing of things. With October beginning, that's getting close to the World Series time.
Right.
And now we're getting into the thick of it. The teams are like becoming who they think they are,
right.
and who's not gonna be there at the end of this month.
Let's go into some NFL news. The Cowboys and Texans went into overtime, lost 16-9. I mean
Cowboys
16-19. Yeah,
Cowboys
lost.
And the top 5 receiver that I've been telling you is a top 5
DeAndre
receiver
Hopkins.
made his case.
I
Are you
mean,
gonna defend yourself in saying that he's not a top 5 receiver?
nah, I'm gonna agree.
You
I'm
gonna agree now?
Yeah, I'm gonna agree.
I see that. He just made his case for being one of the best receivers in the league. Like there's this clip before they played Arizona like 2 years ago,
Right.
and the receiver
He's
coach walks up
I
to
know.
him.
I know.
He's like, "You're the best receiver in the league," and DeAndre Hopkins just looks at him like, "I know."
I know.
And that just tells you like the type of confidence he plays with. And with that confidence, he led his team to a victory. He had a clutch catch in the end where he makes 3 incredible spins.
Right.
And you're just looking like, wow, he's playing
Yeah,
like
a
he's a
video
grown
game out
man
there.
playing with these. He treated them like they was little kids.
Right. The Giants faced the Panthers, and the Giants lost by a field goal. I feel like they got cheated, to be honest. The refs missed some calls. They had some bad calls.
Do you think they got cheated, or do you think something on their offense is holding them back?
Both.
Are you going to be like Odell and not
Nah.
blame Eli?
Nah, I'm gonna put the blame where it is.
Where's the blame?
Eli Manning.
Definitely.
He has superstars all around him on offense. He has Sterling Shepard, Odell Beckham, Saquon Barkley.
Evan, even though he's hurt, but
Yeah.
he has quality weapons.
There should be no reason why.
The team shouldn't score
Yeah.
points. This is their first time scoring 30 points in 3 seasons.
3 seasons.
That's a long time.
Yeah.
Some teams score 30 points in a quarter.
Yeah.
Some teams score 30 points in a half. They haven't done that in 3 years.
That's crazy. They even got Russell Shepard, who's been a sleeper receiver throughout the league for a couple years now. So it's
Eli
something-
Manning is definitely holding that team back.
Right. The Ravens and Browns. I know you're a Browns fan. They won in overtime, 12-9.
I was definitely biting my nails waiting on the ESPN update for
Right.
the game because I was like, we can't go into overtime again. This is our 3rd overtime game this season.
Right.
We had the lead. We was winning majority of the game 9-6. Baker Mayfield, he threw 1 touchdown. He threw 1 interception. I started him in fantasy this week. Kind of wish I did.
No, he had 300 yards.
He threw for 300 yards on 25 passes. So he had a solid game. We just didn't get into the box like we needed to. And I was watching the game, and it was a major defense, which is the AFC North staple is defense.
Right.
So it was a lot of
Third
Baltimore
and short.
Ravens,
All
their
day.
defense, their offense went 3 out of 16 on 3rd down.
Right.
So it was a great defensive game. Our defense had 2 turnovers. We had a forced fumble by Joe Scarborough, who I'm going to say he definitely needs to go back to the Pro Bowl. He was the only player on our team that went to the Pro Bowl on the 0-16 team.
Mhm.
And he continues to make plays. He's a quiet linebacker. He doesn't get the recognition he deserves.
You also have Jabril Peppers.
Jabril Peppers, he finally is becoming what I thought he would be coming
Living
out of
to his height.
Michigan.
Yeah.
Because we picked him in the first round, but he's finally turned it into what he is.
Right.
Now, we talk a lot about Baker Mayfield and him leading the team, but our other first-round pick, the 4th overall, Denzel Ward, is playing out of his mind. He had an interception, and he blocked a kick.
Mm-hmm.
So he's gaining a way for him to become AFC Defensive Player of the Year.
So do you think we should start believing the hype on Baker Mayfield now, or we still got to wait it out? 2 starts, he's had 2 pretty decent starts for a rookie quarterback.
He's definitely our quarterback for the future.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as hype, I would like to let's get him through this first season.
Okay. I'll give him halfway through the season.
He's everything we thought he would be.
Right.
He's everything we thought he would be. He brings the energy to that offense. He brings confidence. And that's the thing. When you're on a defense and you know that your offense can get in the box, you're going to play that much harder because you know all you need is 1 stop, and then he's going to get back on the field and he's going to score, and he leads them to a victory. Now, it took 3 drives in the fourth
Right.
in overtime
Yeah.
for them to actually win the game, but they have confidence that they have a quarterback now that's going to lead them to a victory if need be.
Also, in around the NFL news, the Los Angeles Rams are still undefeated, but congratulations to Cardell Hodges. He made his first NFL reception this past weekend.
Definitely.
So big ups to him.
Shout out Red.
Let's go into some college football now. Texas and Oklahoma. Kyler Murray's second loss since 10th grade.
He owns this state, and I tweeted that out after his 67-yard scamper.
Uh-huh. When was that?
That was the second touchdown when he made 3 touchdowns in the fourth quarter. So he had to make those plays because he put his team in that position to be down 21.
Mm-hmm.
He had the questionable interception where he's rolling to the left, throws across his body. That hurt his team.
Right.
And then he's scrambling one play, and he's 5'11", so he can't sit in the pocket because
Right.
everybody in front of him is 6'4" and up. So he's scrambling out and he makes a costly mistake by putting the ball down to brace himself for the sack, and he fumbles and gives Texas the ball on the 10-yard line. And our defense coordinator did not make any adjustments. Whenever they would go man, they're just going to run slants because they had 6'6" receivers on the outside, and that's not something you can guard. And then whenever they didn't want to run slants, they ran quarterback power, and he had 3 touchdowns. Right. Sam Ehlinger, it was a question coming into the season, would he play quarterback or Sam Booth Chalet, which is a kid out of Arlington, which is my home city. So it was a question who would start between the two, and he cemented his status as the Texas quarterback. And a lot of people would say Texas is back. I don't believe that, but
why not? They've had a pretty much a good year.
They
exceeded expectations.
The question is still the Maryland game. How do you lose that game? That's the one glaring thing on their resume. But this cements them as a top 15, top 10 team in the nation. I don't think they're giving Bama a run for their money just yet. But Tom Herman has definitely turned his program around to what they used to be with Colt McCoy, Mac Brown in that era. And it's looked like he has this program going in the right direction, which is, if you know anything about Tom Herman, it's an interesting story. He started off as a GA, which is a graduate assistant at Texas, and then for him to come full circle and now he's the head man, that's an inspiring story to myself because I have dreams to do certain things.
Right. Hey, speaking into existence, you'll get there.
Yes, sir.
Staying on Kyler Murray, we know he got drafted by the Oakland Athletics. Do you think he should either go to the NFL or go ahead?
He definitely needs to go get his baseball money.
Baseball money.
The only thing that's keeping him is college football, the atmosphere he gets to enjoy.
Right.
He'll never get that. Yeah, he'll never get that again.
Yeah. The minor leagues is tough. It's a whole bunch of road trips, long bus rides.
Nobody goes to see those games
stadiums,
besides family. And he's a superstar in Norman, Oklahoma. It's the only thing in Oklahoma. Oklahoma doesn't have. They don't have an NFL team. They have the OKC Thunder, but it's nothing like playing football in that stadium with that tradition. And that's why if you see him after the end of the game, he's hurt because he knows what that games mean not only to his season but to what he represents within that state of Oklahoma.
Right.
And then for him to come back home where he's 46-0, it definitely hurt him. And you seen him at the end of the game holding his head down, which he didn't have a reason to because he played out of his mind in the fourth quarter and brought his team back single-handedly.
Yeah. Going into the SEC now, it was the whole conference was just shook. Whole bunch of upsets. Florida beat LSU, A&M beat Kentucky, which is surprising because I wouldn't even think of Kentucky being a contender.
That's on the sole back of Snelly is the running back's name?
Yeah, Heisman contended.
Definitely. Yeah. He's put it together a solid collegiate career. I think last year he had like over 1,500 yards. He's definitely one of the better backs in the SEC, which goes into the A&M game because they have the running back who he's trying to Williams is his name. He's trying to make his own status within the SEC, and he led his team to a victory late, which now helps them within their SEC ranks.
Also, Mississippi State beat 8th-ranked Auburn.
That was surprising to say the least. And you seen at the end of the game where there's certain things that tell you about a team, like what's their camaraderie like, and the energy they showed on the sideline after their win. And it's a video on Twitter where you just see them just jumping up and down and just being happy and excited for what they just did because they understood the magnitude of their game.
So do you think the SEC is like, as a whole, is legit now? Even though Vanderbilt is like I'll say they're the worst team in the conference, but even they're having like a decent year for them.
Vanderbilt almost lost to Tennessee State.
Well, never mind.
So we're not going to give Vanderbilt any credit.
Besides Vanderbilt, do you think the SEC is like back to where they was?
Back to where it is, but the SEC is still set up to knock out everybody that's not the two top teams, which the two top teams in the SEC is Georgia and Bama. So no matter what goes on under them, they're going to knock out each other, and those two teams will still make it to Atlanta for the SEC championship game.
Well, we know that the SEC is always in the playoffs. There's some interesting teams that's in the top 10 right now, and that's one of them is UCF. Do you think they should get a fair shot in the playoffs?
Negative. They do not need a fair shot.
Why not?
Because of the conference they're in. It is coming from me where we don't get a shot to make it to the FCS playoffs. That kind of says something. But it's a stigma around conferences that aren't Power 5. Power 5 being Big 10, Big 12, Pac-12, SEC. Those conferences. Those are the main conferences within the college football playoff. So if you don't become a champion out of that conference or you're not a one-loss team out of that conference, you don't I feel like you don't deserve a playoff bid until we go to a 18 playoff.
I mean, but they're winning right now, along with Notre Dame is also in the top 10.
Notre Dame is different because Notre Dame is an independent.
Right.
So Notre Dame has quality wins on their schedule.
Well, schedule some good teams in. And they'll
You
show
can only
what they
do
can
that 3 times. It's the difference between when you play LSU, Florida, Texas A&M, Georgia
Right.
in a season, and you play SMU and teams like as that
U of
such.
H, Tulsa,
You're
all
in
them.
what is it, the American Conference?
Yeah, American Conference.
It's a different league. That's a different game. That's grown men playing in the SEC ball.
All
And
right.
granted, they feel like they can play because they played in a bowl game and they won their bowl game. That's
Mhm.
fine. But when you go through a full season of that, it makes you a man in a different type of way.
Going into the NBA news, recently J.R. Smith was told that he couldn't have his Supreme tattoo on his calf. So I was just thinking, like, what do you think? How do you think the NBA should be regulating their players? Because you know they're always restricting them with like the shoes they wear, and like just the accessories.
I think there's a certain way you can restrict your players. The one thing you can't do is worry about what they put on their body.
Right.
You can tell them how to cover it up in a certain sense. Like if you know anything about basketball, that's why
Yeah.
Allen Iverson wore the sleeve.
Yeah.
Because apparently he had
Too many tattoos.
Yes,
Yeah.
and they didn't want that image out there. So they've done this previously. They have a track record of telling players to cover up or
Right.
do certain things. But as far as the Supreme tattoo, if I'm not mistaken, I think he has a deal with Supreme, and for them to cut into his business,
Right.
that's
kinda-
that's not typical of the NBA. You know,
Yeah.
typically the NBA is the league
It's
that,
the good league.
that sets the
Yeah.
standard, that allows players to be themselves
Right.
and do certain things. But I think with the latest Supreme collab, how they had all the NBA teams,
NBA logos and stuff.
I don't think they,
Right.
I don't think they like that. What was going on there?
Well, who do you think is going to be a sleeper in the NBA?
A sleeper with
There's actually a couple teams that can actually surprise some
Give
people.
me yours.
Mine, it has to be Charlotte, because they got
Who's playing with
they
Kemba?
got Kemba Walker, they got Michael Kidd-Gilchrist. He's had alright seasons, but I just feel like
You feel like he gonna break out? This
yeah.
year?
Who else? The Knicks. They got
until they get Kyrie or
they don't need Kyrie. Well,
Jimmy
yeah, they do.
Butler.
They
They
probably
definitely
use
need.
him.
You don't think they
They
need
can probably
Kyrie?
use him. My fault.
They definitely need Kyrie. Until they get Kyrie, Jimmy Butler, somebody to go along with Porzingis, I think
Mhm.
they're going to stay at the bottom of the East, even though the Eastern Conference is weak itself.
But
But I will say that I don't think the Cavs are missing the playoffs this year.
Nah,
I think they're going to make the playoffs.
I've been saying that.
Yeah.
They still a good team, even
They know-
without LeBron.
I think they played better without him as a team because
As a team.
they use a whole team. They're gonna put Kevin Love back to what he used to do in Minnesota, which
Right.
is something I've been arguing that LeBron kind of put him on the 3-point line
Yeah.
and took away his rebounding ability and his ability to play post game.
I mean, when you got Tristan Thompson, though,
He doesn't have an offensive game.
you don't need offense when you got rebounds.
But if you put both of them there, that means they're getting every rebound.
Yeah. I was watching the Timberwolves, their preseason. Derrick Rose,
Is he looking back to
my man is
Derrick
looking
Rose?
back to his old Derrick Rose. He's
That's
legit now.
with the dreads is helping him
Yeah,
out.
the Dreads is helping him out. He's looking healthy. They still got Jimmy Butler. The trade didn't go through with the Miami Heat, so it looks like he's going to stay there for another year.
How long does he have left on his contract
I think he's done. I'm not sure.
after this season?
Yeah.
So, what is the biggest free agency move you're looking forward to come in
Kyrie,
2019?
Kyrie, Klay Thompson, Kevin Durant.
So
those
do
are my top
You think
three.
those two are leaving?
Nah,
Golden
Kyrie
State.
said he was going to stay. But Klay Thompson, personally, I think he should stay.
Let me tell you this:
KD,
when you're in the Garden,
KD is just KD.
when you're in the Boston Garden,
Uh-huh.
and the stands are packed, do you think you're gonna tell them you're leaving?
I mean, Kyrie did it in Cleveland.
The Boston Garden. You know, there's 16 championships in those Raptors.
Right. That's like saying Shaq leaving the Lakers. He left the Lakers and went to the.
Shaq was forced out.
No, man.
Shaq was forced out.
Anyways, no, I don't think. Personally, I don't think he should leave because he still has Terry Rozier, Jason Tatum, Al Horford. He's old, but he's still
He definitely
still
gets,
contributing to the
he was playing
team.
good in the
Yeah.
playoffs.
Who else?
We're talking about KD
Marcus Smart.
or Did you see the fight between Marcus
Marcus
Smart?
Smart and J.R. Smith, yeah.
Who
but
you taking?
That's the NBA though. They gonna say they gonna fight, but they not
He
gonna
only
fight.
Marcus Smart only ran through all of those people to make a scene.
Yeah,
I don't feel like he was really going to fight J.R.
that's
Smith.
the NBA now.
J.R.
Yeah.
Smith is not who you want to fight.
I don't know. J.R. Smith is J.R. Smith. But I wouldn't be surprised if KD left. Being KD, he left OKC.
So where do you think he'd go?
To be honest, I really don't know right now. Nobody really needs KD
But
because he's
KD
like
can fit in every system.
Nah,
What
I
system can he fit in?
I wouldn't think he could fit in the Spurs system.
He can be unselfish.
Huh?
He can be unselfish. And he's
Nah.
going to score more than Kawhi played in that system. And he plays just as good, if not better defense than Kawhi.
What?
I said it.
Heck no.
He's
a
lanky.
defensive player of the year.
Okay.
One of the best. He's a top 2 defender in the league.
Okay. Who's one? Please don't say LeBron.
Nah. DeMarcus Cousins. Gotta be.
Davis. You got to stop that.
I'm being for real.
No.
Speaking
Cousins?
of DeMarcus Cousins, well, he's gone. He left New Orleans now. I was gonna say New Orleans looked pretty good.
That was your sleeper?
Yeah, but he's
Wait.
with the Warriors now. The same people that he talked down on, now he's with.
That's because he didn't have a contract offer. How do you feel about that? Do you think?
I mean,
do you think he?
That's just
he
because
should've went
he
there?
had a bad reputation. Like he was just
That's what I've
the
been
hothead.
explaining.
Yeah, but I'm
And
glad they at least took a chance on it. But now it's like the Western is just
It's packed.
OP.
It's the thing about I was telling people the reason he didn't have an offer is because you can't have the anger problems he did
Right.
and come off the injury that he had. That Achilles injury is something that can be detrimental to your career. It ended Kobe's career, let's say like a couple seasons early, just off of the fact that that's something that is hard to come back from. Now him being a big man, that's even more harder because he's generating a lot more power.
Mm-hmm.
So that's something that we need to look out for. He probably won't play till after January.
Right. Even if he's not going to play till after January, the Warriors are still going back to the Western Conference Finals.
They're gonna win the Western Conference Finals and go back.
I don't
to
know. The Rockets looking pretty good.
Didn't you tell me last week that the Lakers are going to the Western Conference Finals?
I did, but
you backing off that?
Nah, heck no. The Warriors got to face the Lakers. It got to be 2 teams to be in a game.
They're gonna sweep the Lakers.
Who?
The Warriors.
Nah, man.
Who's?
Bro, we have LeBron, we have Brandon Ingram, we have Rajon Rondo, we have Julius Randle, we have Lonzo Ball,
Did you just?
Caldwell Pope.
Okay. Do you know who they're facing? They're facing
That's fine.
champions
That's fine.
of Stephen Curry.
LeBron,
Klay
KD can't do
Thompson.
nothing against LeBron. He can't.
He didn't have 30 in the finals against LeBron.
How much
LeBron
did-
was
how much did
running from
LeBron
guarding
have?
him.
How much did LeBron have?
LeBron didn't win.
Huh?
He didn't win.
Okay, but how many points did LeBron have?
He didn't win.
How many
What
points
does
did
that matter?
LeBron have?
He had 51 and they still lost.
Anyways, who's going to Rajon Rondo can definitely lock up Curry. Klay Thompson,
We're going to screen pick and roll all day.
we'll see what we can do with that. That really ain't nothing. But we're gonna get back into this conversation Wednesday because we're all out of time now. But this is David Smith from the PV Sports Zone,
And I'm Zach Collins.
and we'll see y'all Wednesday. It seemed long.